Will they be lucky? Will they be unlucky? Good start from pole position from Augusto Farfus. McLaren's left, right and centre trying to make a move, and Alessio Picariello trying to make a move as well. The 3 championship challengers trying to gain a position of the Winwood Racing Manfilter Mercedes got a big squeeze on it there. Who's going to emerge in the lead of the race? Nicky Thiem gave it a bit of a go, but ended up off the track in his Aston Martin. Bit of bodywork flying there. That, I think, was Alessio Rivera on the back of Augusto Farfus, and the Schumacher CLR2 Porsche keeping out of the way. Maybe a good idea round 2, but still the pole sitter leads going into turn 3, and a great charge from car 22. Our ancient Guven started 5th up to 2nd. How about the championship challengers? The one that lost out was Mauro Engel. We're riding on board with him. He's right behind the Lamborghini, so he's definitely lost ground. They all qualified behind him. Yeah, he's lost a little bit. So settle down, everyone. The one who's settling down best, Joe, is our race leader, and that is Augusto Farfus. Still there is action. Turn 5, turn 6.
3 wide and through the mid-pack, and Nicky Thiem in that Aston Martin Comtu in 5th place now. Tried to send it round the outside. It didn't work. He went hard and it didn't go. Was the bodywork off Rivera? Was it off Farfus? We don't know. Farfus was pretty robust with his defence. I don't know where he wanted Rivera to go. That will, of course, be reviewed. But Guven now has got past, and now Engel has passed the McLaren as well. Maybe some pace in that Winwood Mercedes as he uses a load of curb, and that forces him wide. Is going to bunch up behind him.
Well, take that, face full of gravel for anyone in behind Mauro Engel. But in terms of the championship battle, the one that gained the most is Charles Weerts. He's gained a position or 2, and he's got a buffer back to his rivals. The 2 yellow cars, the yellow and blue Porsche, and Mauro Engel in that bright yellow car with the amazing green snake-like livery, car number 48, but it's the Lamborghini that made progress. And is that I'm just trying to work out who has managed to move that ahead. But importantly in the championship battle, it's very early days in this 3 hours race, but the one who got the advantage was Charles Weerts.
Like I said, that's been the best start to the season. They're down to 16th now, but the pace looking good for that car.
Yeah, so all these concerns on the grid, but really the first 5 drivers making a bit of a break now. We've got yellow sector at turn 4, so it's the exit of the complex.
Yeah, it's the 991 Paradine car, isn't it?
Okay, that's who's on board that? I think it was Darren Lung at the start of the race.
Correct.
Yes, it was. So he's getting out, he's looking down. Oh, why is it smoking? Let's.
So we're on board with him now. 2 corners. We've just got hit very hard. That's going to be rear left suspension. Is that our guilty party? The 88 Tresor Attempto Audi? You would say yes. We're going to listen in to this car as well. What did Darren have to say about that? I think we've had to probably cover over that, maybe the language a bit fruity. And in the meantime, we've gone to full course yellow. The VW isn't part of the race. That's one of the recovery cars. That's going to try and do a quick live snatch. You can see the access road in front, one of the configurations that can be used here. So this could be a very quick full course yellow. But 4, and the race officials are happy to let that slide. So don't expect anything there. You could just change the door in the pit stop in time and not lose anything. But most of the teams decide not to and just let it go.
Lucas Stoltz, tiny little bit of bodywork damage on the right rear of his car. Was it left? I can't remember now. But he's still trying to pick his way up the order. He's up to 32nd. And that is a good gain, bearing in mind that car started from pit exit. So he's gained close on 30 positions. But clearly that bodywork rub, it hasn't come without cost. Yeah, left rear corner of the car. Doesn't look as though it's anything performance hampering now. What do you mean? I'm always looking at the wrong screen at the wrong moment, but there you go. The more you have, the more you can fumble, but the more you have, if you're not trying to commentate at the same time, you can just weave another story, find a mix. Now, what's happened in recent laps? Suddenly, look, Arjun Maini's decided he's not satisfied with 7th place, so he's going to make a move. Mirko Bortolotti has made a tidy move as well. Adam Smalley is the one that's made them, promoted him up the order there. He'd been running really strongly and has just let a couple of other cars come through. He's been running in 6th. He's gone behind Bortolotti, he's gone behind Mauro Engel, and that will be frustrating for Alessio Picariello because he lost a place to Arjun Maini. So instead of sitting on Engel's tail, he's got 2 cars between him. He's got Smalley and Maini now.
What's happened to Smalley? He lost 3 seconds on the last lap, but here in the minimum pit stop time, it's more about procedure than out-and-out pace.
Absolutely so, very well explained there. Mauro Engel has just set his fastest lap of the race. He's running down in 7th place, came here with a 1-point championship lead. Importantly for him, one of the cars challenging him, that one, the Rutronic Porsche, is 3 positions further back. Started the race just 1 position down. So frustration, as we saw from Alessio Picariello when he got past. and doesn't want to let anyone else through. He's got very, very strong driver lineup. All the pro crews do. Half the Pro-Am crews will, of course. We've got the gold class, the silver class, and the bronze class as well. But the calibre of the drivers, the amount of GT3 racing they do around the world is phenomenal. But no wonder we thought Nicky Team was getting closer. Lap 20, he gained quarter of a second. Even more than that on lap 21, then 3/10 of a second as he caught up with Alessio Rivera's Ferrari in the battle for second, third and fourth. So good sequence of laps from the Flying Dane.
Yeah, and Picarelli now probably getting close enough to think about a move as we jump on board with him. The McLaren edging away in the straight line. The Porsche historically very strong on traction, of course. The flat six engine slung in the rear bumper, so when you get on the throttle, the rear squats down and gives those rear tyres some nice performance. There you can see the pace. It has ebbed and flowed, but now the last 2 laps, 4/10 gained on each of those laps on Smalley. So this could be a battle as we get towards the end of this stint. The race has flown by. Smalley missing that apex by a mile. That's a 10th or 2 lost forever. He'll be looking in his mirrors, starting to maybe panic. Gets that apex nicely though. Hopefully he can stop the rot. Look down the order of who could potentially do some jumps if they stay out. Murray Engel's pace has remained strong throughout this stint, so he could be looking for an overcut. You can see him just coming onto the pit straight there, still tucked up behind Bortolotti there in the Lamborghini, and Schiller just sticking on the rear bumper, and that's no mean feat. No one else did that in the opening stint. I've already said about why he's able to do that. Guven now starting to get some traffic. It's this another Porsche, isn't it? It's the Herbert Motorsport car that doesn't want to get put any further down the order. Going back on board with the 51 car of Rivera. Watching the balance, the car looks lovely. Snap of oversteer there over the curb, and as soon as I've said the balance looks lovely, it looks pretty lively all of a sudden. The rear tyre starting to drop off now. 57 minutes, 10 minutes or so under safety car, but the rear tyres starting to give up more than the front proportionally, potentially on this Ferrari. The throttle pickup of this twin-turbo V6 296 is amazing. No such thing as turbo lag in a modern race car. You touch the throttle and you're given roughly 540 horsepower in a modern GT3 car.
I remember at the very start of turbos coming onto road cars, sometimes you had to check the badge on the boot to see if it had a turbo or not. You sort of thought you pressed the pedal, nothing happened, and eventually you got something, and then gradually the power just became quite absolutely crazy and immense fun. But in racing terminology, people used to talk about it being like a light switch. And Ayhanch and Guven, who have yet to make a pit stop, they will make their pit stops. They were second and third, but remember that Aston Martin will be getting closer and closer. So out onto the track. And look how much time the Aston Martin has gained. So it's right on the tail and may even be able to sneakily try and take the lead going into the second sector of this race. Around the outside at turn 2, will he be able to make the move stick? No, the outside is pushed very wide indeed, and Jesse Krohn won't be welcome on the outside.
Wow.
So let's try the inside. What a great move. A little bit of contact there, a little bit of bodywork going up, but that could be the move of the race. Well, let's wait and see.
That is a move, and that's the illustration. Schiller was showing us visually the undercut, new tyre strength, and that's why they rolled the dice. And Drudy there, because he's 4 laps into the stint, he's able to just get straight on it. Yes, a Krohn there on his outlap, rudely assaulted. I think it was a hard but fair move. I like to see it, and I think Drudy knew it had to be then, because the fresh tyre will now swing back in favour of the 98 BMW. But ComTu have track position, and I think that's more important. So BMW has just left pit lane. Tyres should be okay temperature-wise. They're out the other. Drudy now looks like he's going around the outside. He cuts the inside. This is that blind spot, the dive bomb overtake I was talking about. Krohn tried to block the inside, but Drudy thinks there's enough space. Places that Aston Martin advantage there. He might have lost his front right dive plane there. You can see the carbon flick up, and it's not the biggest piece of carbon on the front of the Aston. It won't be a disaster, slightly more understeer, but better straight line speed, so there is a trade-off.
It's good to look for the silver lining there, but yeah, he's streaking clear now. Matthias Drudy, as you say, with 4 laps more heat into his tyres. Jesse Krohn not wanting to make a mistake, but in the smallest of margins, and you've got to go for a gap. Of course the gap wasn't as wide as a car width, it was about half a car width, but that was considered enough by Luca's boy. And Matthias Drudy, second generation Italian racer, just a racer through and through. He wasn't going to leave that gap, he went for it, and he's got ahead of the car that was leading the race comfortably. It's advantage of being clawed back.
Come true, but yeah, look, thank you very much. doesn't feel like 40. It's great to be here, be on this grid with all these talented drivers, and as long as I can mix it with them, you know, and challenge for podiums and wins, I'm happy.
You'll be here for many years to come. Thank you, Mauro.
Well, it always happens. Great interview there with Mauro Engel. Thank you very much, Alex. While we have an interview, something always happens. We've suddenly had the Ford of Jan Mardenborough gaining 2 positions. He jumped ahead of Hugo de Wilde and also ahead of the Brutronic Porsche of Sven Muller. So that's been a phenomenal lap for the Ford, and the Ford is finding more and more pace through this race. Brilliant opening stint for the number 64 car from the Hout Racing team by Arjun Maini, and it's carrying on in that vein. So suddenly we've got 2 championship challengers really close. But at the moment, we have to say that Hugo de Wilde, as the 911 of Pure Racing, goes for a spin for Richard Leach. You almost never see that from Richard. Maybe he was given a helping hand down into turn 1, so there's a lot of changing. So a helping hand may come from the car sitting in behind him. That's the number 17 car that's had its own battles. Of course, we saw Jules Gournon is being held back for the final stint, but Richard Leach being given a bit of a push and a shove there by Fabian Schiller. Muller has got ahead. No, sorry, beg your pardon, Muller is in behind Hugo de Wilde, but the group of cars coming up to challenge them, and McLaren's coming to the mix. Joseph Logue will be coming into shot very shortly, just is there. He's trying to catch up with Chris Lulham and see what they can do about the cars ahead. But suddenly, early in this second stint, second of the 3 stints, we're having lots and lots of place changing, and for all sorts of reasons, so it seems.
Yep, and here's Joseph Logue on the charge. Had a really good qualifying session, lap time-wise, but then got given a penalty for contact during the qualifying session. 5 grid place drop, but we're used to seeing this Joseph Logue driven car being fast now. He's only 20 years old and has jumped in this GT car. Speaking to Rob Bell, who we spoke to on the grid, and he really, really likes Joseph Logue and wants to try and keep him in the McLaren stable. As Jesse Craig has dropped slightly off the back. Obviously, we had the traffic with the Audi almost exactly a lap ago, but the pace has been going in the favour of this Rover BMW at the moment. He's also got 0 track limit warnings on his stint. Drudy only the 1 in front, and then Ambril behind has had 2. So track limits not so prevalent here at the Nürburgring compared to some of the circuits which we visit. But it's all about building, and you have to say suddenly the Ford's looking a lot more attractive, looking as teams consider what they might want to run in 2026. There's never any static performance in GT3 racing. Everyone is developing at a different cycle time, and certainly been exciting days. I came across on a plane with a certain Kazuki Nakajima. Of course, he's looking after all of Toyota's action. And Goodwood early this year, we saw the GT3 concept car. Will it race, will it not? And I tell you what, it looks absolutely magnificent. But again, they might come in, it might take a year, might take 2 years, might even take 3 years to find a car that can challenge at the front of these races. But the more manufacturers, the merrier. We always work with that principle. We've got 10 here among the 61 cars that were entered for this race meeting. 59 started. Oh, there used to be a phrase, high, wide and handsome. That is wide, wide and handsome. And my namesake Brian Jones at Brands Hatch would have been saying that, but that's Joseph Logue, who's been going so well, picking his way up the order, but I'm afraid that's squandered a handful of positions. And here comes the grandstand. Oh no, it's the hotel. Right, avoid the hotel, back onto the circuit. There's contact there. Which car was on his inside? He was trying to go round the outside, which is always a high-risk manoeuvre, but it was hard to call from that onboard angle there anyway. Yeah, the next few laps will be interesting. The previous 8 laps, they've had traffic, so it's been hard to tell the true pace. But it looks like they should be clear for the next 2 to 3 laps. So we'll get an illustration. I'll keep an eye on their lap time so we can see it. The 32 BMW here has kind of steadied the ship after a real wobble pace-wise, where we heard the engineer get on the radio to try and steady that ship. Still holding up Piccarello here. Remember, Jan Mardenborough was in this battle, it feels like 10, 12 laps ago, and he is way, way up the road now. He's 4 corners ahead of us, 10, 12 seconds gone. So that shows you the pace of the Ford, but also the lack of the pace of the 32. And these are championship rivals, of course. The 32 BMW, the 96 Rutronic Porsche we're looking at now. And where's their other championship rival? 4th. They're in the best seat right now, aren't they? The 48 Winwood Mercedes.
You know what we haven't talked about for quite some while? We're looking down through the class. We mentioned that Chris Lulham, there he is, 10th, leading the Gold Cup class. Silver Cup class, just a few places further back. Aurelian Panis, the number 10, Boots and VDS Mercedes. And in bronze, well, it's changed. It's now the number 74 Kessel Racing Ferrari, as tends to be at once, leading that class. And he's moved ahead. He was running second for a while, or the car was. took it over from Dustin Blattner. Now they've got Riccardo Feller closing in, and that isn't a good thing because Riccardo is very, very quick in the Lion Speed GP Porsche. I suggest he may be able to move into the class lead, but we've got the round of pit stops coming up very soon indeed.
Yeah, a few cars starting to have a few war wounds, aren't they? Joseph Loke's rear left bodywork hanging off. All okay at the moment, of course. The officials will deem if the bodywork is too big or any component is too big and it's dangerous to spectators, to marshals, to other cars, can be given a mechanical warning flag. So that will be something maybe we have to watch out for to end the race as we look at the silver class leader of Aurelio Panis. He's done a mega job there. Charles Clark second in that class, a bit further back now, but yeah, we saw a great move from Panis at turn 8 on that Oliveira car, which seems to have had some kind of pace issue. It's almost like the turbos have some form of illness and they're just not firing perfectly when needed, and that car has just dropped away from where it was here, and at the moment Panis doing a mega job right now.
It's all a bit of a game. Oh, Lion Speed and Kessel Racing. I could see he was closing by 2 seconds a lap, Riccardo Feller. There's contact and the car that leads the class is off, and that right rear corner
has been right at the sharp end of the bronze car. What happens? We've got something kicking off with the Nordique Mercedes in the background. Was that contact or just an ill-timed rear right puncher? I'm going to say there's probably contact with the Audi on the way in. And the 74 Ferrari, the white and blue car, fully innocent. The Lion Speed Porsche gets involved too. And you can see Lawson trying to get out of the way. The Audi's also got damage, understeers into the side, kaboom. Feller in the Lion Speed Porsche is trying to guess where everyone's going. He's trying to go for the gap, which doesn't exist. Lawson has just been a complete innocent bystander in this. His car gets beached in the gravel. I think Feller might even hit him once more. Feller does get out and ended up boxing that lap, so he managed to survive. It's only the 74 car that directly retires on this moment, but what a slow-mo of the gravel trap in action, stopping that car and getting out of the way. And I do think Feller has another go at it. He's got nowhere to go, of course, but yeah, the Dustin Blattner, Dennis Marshall and Conrad Lawson car, there's a secondary hit there, and hopefully the Porsche's okay to get to the end of the race.
Well, it's interesting seeing that replay. I came away with a completely different conclusion.
We've got a lapped car behind us, but it's a good restart at the moment for the car that's in 37th position at the moment. Maurice Schuring has had a good restart. It's actually right on the back of Raffaele Marcello.
Bodywork flapping on the car in third place. That was a car we saw having problems, was it not? The Nordique Racing Mercedes. Now, look, it's going to be a challenge down the inside from Cairoli. He's not challenging the car for championship position. Don't worry, it's not a pro class car. He's picked off the 270 Aston Martin. That was neat and tidy from him, but now he's gained one of those places, but Marcello is trying to streak clear. The 2 cars behind, you're quite right, Maurice Schuring made a good stab of it, but the Mercedes is moving around a little bit, front bodywork damage and rear bodywork damage on there, flapping on the track. That will be an issue for the cars coming up behind.
Yeah, it certainly will, and you can still see Lucas hurrying to duck and dive, and as they cross the line on the restart, it was only 2.3 seconds, so the gap was small, but that will, of course, now start to grow at a rapid rate as these cars in front of him start to hold up, and they, in turn, lose touch with the 98 race leader.
Yeah, lights flashing on the yellow and blue Mustang coming into the middle of the shot. That's place third, Thomas Drouet at the wheel. This could be phenomenal if the Ford can get a podium. We were thinking a top 10 result would be their best of the season. It was going to be their best, but sitting pretty there, and fourth in the line, but a little bit further back is Patrick Niederhauser, who's going to be bringing home the Rutronic Porsche. 1, 2, 3, just looking just in the background of the shot, about 4 cars further back.
He's getting hustled hard though by Cesar Gazzo in the Mark VDS silver car. I saw that Mercedes there, the yellow, black, silver, orange, every colour you can name on the car, was hustling this car, and at the moment Niederhauser hasn't seemed to have got the pace on the restart. He's stuck behind the 91. You can see the headlight flashes reflecting in the on the rear bumper of that 91 car, and he's trying to get past. Same for Drouet in the Ford Mustang. The safety car has helped some, but now it's a frustrating help.
Certainly is, right. Very, very positive move there from third driver into that 48 Mercedes, and that's Lucas Auer. Every position he can gain gives him clearer sight of Raffaele Marcello, but as Marcello goes on to lap 64, his margin over Auer is 2.7 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that over the next few laps, but certainly still some cars between them on the track. That's the complication for Lucas Auer.
Yeah, and it's going to now just be how much risk versus reward. If it's a single race, that changes everything. He's thinking championship more than race result. He's second. That's a great result to get on the podium. There's the move going to be. Could be into turn one. The McLaren very quick in the end of speed trap into turn one. So one more corner to go. This is the last corner at 17. Kirchhoff will just be looking for a clean run out of here. Can't really do a late apex here. The grip is all on the inside, not really able to manipulate much. Where is he? He's actually dropped off the back. It's Backler that's closer to Heinrich that's closer to the back of Pepper now as we see those top speeds. And McLaren is second, but the Ford is fastest.
Fastest and fourth fastest, so both of those cars looking very good. Fantastic shot there, giving the location of the circuit high in the Eiffel Forest, the trees all around, brilliant racing surface. And this today has been absolutely phenomenal. And then suddenly we've got contact between Cesar Gazzo's silver class leader. He's just taken out Alessandro Pierguidi. He's about to lose a position to the Aston Martin. It's the 52 car, I beg your pardon. It was, oh dearie me, so that was, I beg your pardon, Alessandro Pierguidi, you can carry on in your position. Of course, you were in front of Cesar Gazzo by, well actually, at the start of the lap by 5 seconds, so they wouldn't have been close enough for that. But that high shot slightly threw me. The car that was thrown, luckily, isn't one of the front runners. That was a chance, of course, for the Aston Martin to gain a position. Sorensen has gone ahead of Cesar Gazzo, and then Sorensen and Pepper. Let's turn the order around to Pepper ahead of Sorensen. No.
Looking darker out of our commentary box. I can't see anything on the windscreen. Let's see if it goes to anything. At the moment, can Pepper get past this silver car here? Here's the snap. Here's the other car on the exit. Are they all running wide because the surface is affording them less grip? Is it going to come to anything? This would certainly spice up the last 11 minutes and 19 seconds.
Look, you don't need to spice up a race like this. It's absolutely brilliant. Now we're getting a little bit of speck on the windscreen. Speck in German is ham, isn't it? But there's a little speckle of rain on the windscreen down to turn 8. This is the lowest point of the circuit. Is that rain or is that just debris that's come up over the course of the nearly 3 hours of racing? Looks like tyre debris to me.
Yeah, I thought originally it was just some raindrops, but I think it is just the massive dirt of nearly 3 hours of racing. The dust getting kicked up as well. Pepper's going to look to the inside here on the left. Gazzo's trying to defend from it. I don't think that's going to deter Pepper. He knows it's not for the class, and that really asks the question. Gazzo forced out wide. That's more time lost. Kirchhoff will be looking to pounce in the McLaren behind as well, struggling to turn the car. And these cars, I've had power, so it is impossible to turn. I could hear the engine sounded okay. There was nothing dragging. It was just his movements with the wheel, and he trudges away into the garage. It's not been a good day. You can see why, because there's 2 AF cars already there. The 93 Ziggo Tempesta and the sister 50 car is done. There was contact earlier on in the race on lap 1. Is it a legacy of that? And let's see if we can find out. One car that won't want a problem late in the race is our race leader, coming through the final sector of this lap, going to start the last lap next time by.
Wow, when a driver gets out of a car, walks away, doesn't even look back at it, literally doesn't talk to anyone, that is the message. So it could have happened to their car, but for Augusto Farfus and the gang, it's not happening to their car. And here, what should be the start of the final lap of the race. It'll be lap number 85. Be sweet for them. Raffaele Marciello, he's had some epic races across the sprint and endurance championships for the GT World Challenge and the Block Power Series before that. But starting with a nearly 5-second margin, the Swiss racer, super smooth. No real challenge to him in his final stint in this race, but it was all about the timing of a full course yellow, while some of the rivals, most notably the number 7 Aston Martin, was leading, and that threw the advantage to the 98 crew. And we've just heard the confirmation, power steering failure, well spotted by Joe and the gang, but you need all the help you can get, and takes the pressure off the Rutronic Porsche crew that were chasing. But for Raffaele Marciello, no particular pressure. Looks as though gold victory in this race will go to Harry King and the Verstappen.com car, and I think with that they will wrap up the gold title as well, not even needing to go and score any points at the final round. But there we are, super tight, consistent performance and quick all season.
Yeah, for the final round, could we see maybe a driver swap? Could we get Franz Hermann in the car as they've already sealed the championship? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? This car here could have been Darren Lung on the right there. He was taken out early. They raced together, Augusto Farfus and Darren Lung. So different teams, but teammates they have been in the past. And this has been a day to remember for the Rover Motor Oil car. Pole position and still pushing on Raffaele Marciello with one of his more sedate stints because he hasn't had anything to do, but he's done it well.
So there we are, 3 hours of racing and BMW coming out on top. So many incidents discussed and penalties still being issued after the cars across the finish line. We just had the number 63 Lamborghini drop down from 5th place to 10th, but victory undoubtedly by 4 and a bit seconds for the Rover Racing crew. Augusto Farfus, Jesse Krohn and Raffaele Marciello in that order. Lucas Auer, Matteo Caroli and Mauro Engel in the 48 Winward Racing Mercedes. They fell down the order, they rose up the order and got to second, and they leave the German circuit with an increased championship lead. Now up into second place in the championship, thanks to third place overall, Alessio Picariello, Sven Muller and Patrick Niederhauser in the Rutronic Racing Porsche, and their championship rival, Car 32, out of the points, down in 11th place overall. The Team WRT BMW very much in the battle, but certain progress was made by the Ford that finished third on the road, dropped to 6th through the penalty, then another penalty was applied to the 63 Lamborghini, back up to 5th. Huge progress from the Ford crew, so well done to Jan Mardenborough and the guys in that crew. Bronze winners, as we just heard, Tom Leben, Charles Dawson and Ben Barnicoat, 2C's Motorsport, Mercedes, and a good run for them. But overall winners, there we have them, Farfus, Krohn and Marciello. We set off with 61 cars in qualifying, 60 started the race, and at the end we had vast majority, 51 cars making it through to the finish, with so many incidents discussed, but it came good. The sun came out, but the sun was shining clearly most brightly on Rover Racing, because the timing of a full course yellow when they were making their pit stop made all the difference. Augusto Farfus clearly has a plane to catch because he left the podium, and there we go. Champagne sprayed all around, but victory today in Germany. Started in the grey, ended up very much in the sunshine, particularly if you're the drivers on the top step of the podium. And the two remaining ones are Raffaele Marciello and Jesse Krohn up on that top step, so very well done to all of those.